At this time, will you please stand, and gentlemen, please remove your hats for the presentation of colors by the Wicomico County JROTC, and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem.
Halt. Left face. Present. Arm. Forward. March.
Good evening. You may now be seated. Today, I am honored to welcome family, faculty, and my fellow graduates to Mardela's Class of 2022 Commencement Ceremony. I would also like to welcome the Board of Education members that are in attendance today. Mr. Alan Brown and Mr. Michael Murray are joining us on stage, and Ms. Tanya Laird-Lewis, Mr. Gene Malone, and Ms. Ann Suthowski are joining us in the audience. Additionally, please join me in welcoming Dr. Donna Hanlon, our Wicomico County Superintendent of Schools. Thank you all for being here today. To the family and friends that are gathered here, I encourage you to recognize the accomplishments of our senior class and how your support was valuable to our success. To the teachers and faculty who have served as mentors to most of us since middle school, I hope you are proud of the people we have become and know that your efforts in educating our class will go a long way. Finally, to my fellow graduates, congratulations to each of you for this incredible achievement. Good luck, and I wish you nothing but the best in pursuing your future endeavors. Thank you.
Good evening, parents, teachers, admin, and fellow graduates. First, I would like to start by thanking everyone for coming out tonight to celebrate and acknowledging the Mardela class of 2022 graduates. Teachers, thank you for helping us to learn everything we need to know to be in this position today, graduating high school. Your patience, encouragement, and care is how we are able to graduate today. Without all of you, we would not be here. Being a teacher cannot be easy, especially with how things have changed in the past 2 years, and we really appreciate all of you for not giving up and continuing to help us be successful. Parents and family members, thank you for all of your support and care. Thank you for sitting with us late at night, helping us with homework, helping us study, and helping us finish projects. Thank you for being here and celebrating our accomplishments with us. And thank you for all of the sacrifices you have made to help us become successful. Thank you to all of our administration, Mrs. Hastings, Dr. Nolan, and Mr. Ball and Ms. Duncan for creating a fun, welcoming environment in school and helping our senior year to be special. To our coaches, thank you for allowing us to have fun and make memories playing the sports we love during our high school years. Thank you for coaching us on how to be better athletes on the field and better people off the field. To our music and drama leaders, thank you for inspiring us to express ourselves through the arts. Thank you to the custodians for making our school a clean and comfortable place for us to learn. Thank you to the cafeteria staff for making nutritional meals for us so we are nourished throughout the day. We appreciate our school nurses for helping us stay healthy and in the classrooms. Thank you to our school resource officer for keeping our school safe and allowing everyone to feel safe every day at school. Finally, I want to thank our guidance counselors, Mrs. Shiles and Mrs. Armstrong, for preparing us for life after high school and making sure each of us are where we are needed to be to graduate. Again, thanks everyone for coming out this evening to celebrate this very special milestone in our lives.
Luke Dean has attended Mardela Middle and High School since 7th grade. He is graduating with a 4.6 GPA and has achieved all A's throughout high school. Luke has over 400 community service hours, most of which he has earned while serving full-time as a camp counselor for the last 3 summers at the Worcester County Rec Center. He is a part of Mu Alpha Theta, our Math Honor Society, and a member of the National Honor Society. Luke has also been a member of the varsity baseball and the varsity cross-country teams. At Mardela, Luke has received numerous awards for his dedication to excellence, such as the President's Education Award and the U.S. Air Force Mathematics and Science Award. Luke is graduating from high school with well over 20 college credits earned. After high school, Luke is attending Salisbury University to earn a degree in respiratory therapy. Upon graduation, he will be applying to medical school in hopes of becoming an anesthesiologist. Please welcome Luke Dean.
In the words of William Wordsworth, life is divided into 3 terms: that which was, that which is, and that which will be. Let us learn from the past to profit by the present, and from the present to live better in the future. Welcome, graduates, to your future, a future filled with, well, whatever you desire. A future so vast and so expanding that my words could never truly quantify its magnitude. A future unique and brimming with possibility. But before I discuss the future, it is vital to acknowledge the past and how that past has influenced our lives and will continue to do so. It would be a mistake not to acknowledge who has allowed us to be here today. The wonderful staff here at Mardela High School, from Mrs. Hastings and the other administrators, to the teachers, to the custodial and cafeteria staff, I offer a very grateful thank you. Thank you for providing us a one-of-a-kind experience at Mardela, allowing us to cultivate and grow our minds in a very safe and a very encouraging environment. I would also like to thank all the wonderful parents and guardians who have allowed your children to prosper here at Mardela. Without your love and support through all the years, none of us would be walking across this stage. Thank you, parents and guardians. And to the students, we did it. We graduated high school. We persevered through all the tough times, from the awkward freshman and sophomore years to the COVID-filled junior year to the senioritis-filled senior year. We did it. And that, within itself, is extremely commendable. Not only do we just survive these trying times, but we flourished, we learned, we succeeded. For every failed test, we learned to prepare harder. For every heartbreak, we learned to pick ourselves back up. For every slip of the tongue, we learned to control our emotions. But we did not just learn from our mistakes, as we learned from our triumphs as well. We learned what a best friend was, someone who with our connection is unparalleled, not confined to any social structure or superficial correspondence, but pure connection. We learned what our passions are. These passions, unrestrained from the classical school subjects, have become the basis for our dreams. Dreams that we, and we alone, have sole ownership over. Dreams that we might spend our entire lives chasing, and that's okay. As I see it, our passions and dreams can be unified into one word: success. It's like a math equation. Gosh, can't this guy avoid bringing up math for one day? I mean, it's graduation after all. I'm a math guy, if you didn't know. Passions plus dreams equals success. But what is success? I think that all of us desire to be successful, but is success objective? Is it all about wealth or social standing? No. I truly believe that success comes in a multitude of forms. It can mean wealth and power, but on a greater scale, I think success speaks to fulfillment and happiness. Being able to live a life that each of us has always desired. And that doesn't have to mean expensive cars or huge houses, but it means having a job that we love and being surrounded by the people we love, making an impact on the world around us, because we all have the potential to do so. As I look out into the crowd one last time, I see success. I don't necessarily just see doctors and lawyers, engineers and astronauts, but I see teachers, farmers, electricians, plumbers, nurses, childcare providers, business professionals. I see people that will find success, whatever that entails, in various ways. Entrepreneurs, designers, models, because this is the most talented group of people that I've ever been around. You are creative, witty, sincere, and spirited, determined, diligent, especially admirable. But what I see is not what is important. It is what you see within yourselves that matters. Your ambitions, your goals, your dreams, your passions. Chase them. Welcome to your future.
Good evening, class of 2022 graduates, teachers, family, friends, and loved ones. Today is the end of a huge chapter of our lives that we have been dreaming about for years. We gather here to talk and reminisce about all that we have accomplished along the way to get where we are today. Most of us have grown up in Mardela since middle school, and years ago, today seemed like a distant reality. However, this is not the case anymore. We made it, we are here. We're graduating. Crazy, right? We're going into the world of adulthood. Therefore, we are gathering here for one last time to look back on everything that we have done over the years. These accomplishments and memories that we have made over the last 4 years of our lives could not go without talking about, as they have made our high school years as amazing as possible. I would like to highlight some of these outstanding accomplishments and memories that we have made in our time in high school. Our outstanding Warriors Marching Band has had numerous wins at events or parades they have participated in. At the end of our 9th grade year, our marching band went to participate in the annual Apple Blossom Festival in Winchester, Virginia, where they placed first overall marching band and came back as sweepstakes winners for 2018-2019 season. This year, the band has come back with a new director, Mr. Coco, and continued marching on to success. This year in the Cambridge-Dorchester Christmas Parade, they were the top band first overall entry, and Emily Dennis was named top drum major and top drum line. The Warriors Marching Band won top auxiliary unit and second overall band in Shenandoah Apple Blossom Festival Grand Feature Parade this spring. The Symphonic Band received the highest score of Superior at the District Festival this year. Our orchestra had the honor to play the national anthem at the Shorebirds game in both 2019 and 2020. The Mardela High School Orchestra received an excellent rating at District Festival, and the entire group participated in the Solo and Ensemble Festival and received superior and excellent scores. Many orchestra students from Mardela were selected for the Wicomico Honors Orchestra, and 2 were selected to lead their entire sections at this event. The voice of the Warriors Concert Choir received an excellent rating at the District Festival and had the most representatives from Mardela and all shore choir in the last decade. They had very successful performances throughout the year, including A Lovelish Night, The Bologna, The Pickle, The Zombie, and Other Things I Had from My Mother, which was Emmett May Jess's first ever touring children's theater show. This year, our girls' soccer teams were named regional finalists. Our boys' soccer teams were also named regional finalists this year, losing a heartbreaker to Pocomoke in penalty kicks. In 2019, our boys' basketball team was the bracket champions for Governor's Challenge. Prior to the pandemic, the wrestling team had back-to-back winning seasons while picking up 26 victories and bringing home 2 second-place team tournament trophies. In 2019, the team was qualified for the 1A East Region Dual Meet Championship. In 2020, Casey Gerhardt became Mardela's first female wrestling regional champion while qualifying for Maryland's very first girls wrestling championship. On November 14, 2021, Coach Deion Johnson was inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame at the museum in Stillwater, Oklahoma. This year, we were excited to bring wrestling back for the 2022 season. The team has a bright future ahead of them. In 2019, the baseball team made history by winning the Bayside South Championship. They were also regional finalists and finished the season with the best record in school history, winning 16 games. This season, the baseball team were regional finalists again. In 2019, the softball team won 19 games, almost tying the school record. This year, the softball team was the 1A regional champions and was undefeated against all Wicomico County teams. Several seniors have represented Mardela well in track and cross country over the last 4 years, as with a few other activities in high school. COVID was a disruption to some of those seasons and state meets. In cross country, Zoe DePasqua qualified for the state meet in both her freshman and sophomore seasons. In indoor track, Jaden Shelton qualified for states in the 55-meter dash his freshman year, then again his sophomore year, along with qualifying for the 55-meter hurdles. This year, we had a few seniors qualifying for the state meet. Gabe Carter, Kevin Lewis, and Jaden Shelton made states in the 4x200 meter relay. In addition to the relay, Jaden was dominant in the sprinting and hurdles. Jaden won Baysides, regionals, and finished second at states in the 55-meter dash. Jaden was unbeaten in the 55-meter hurdles all season, including Baysides, regionals, and earned as a state championship at the meet in February, setting a state record for the event. He was named the Delmarva Now Indoor Track Male Athlete of the Year, putting a mark on an outstanding indoor season. In outdoor track, Zoe DePasqua qualified for states in the 2-mile during her freshman year. Our junior year, the outdoor track team made history by hosting our school's first ever track meet at the new Mardela Stadium. This year, both the girls and boys 4x800 meter relay qualified for states. These relays included seniors Maddie Reger, Emily Dennis, Gabe Carter, and Trad Cooper. Jaden has continued in his dominance in the hurdles by remaining unbeaten in both the 110-meter hurdles and the 300-meter hurdles all season long, including winning at Baysides, regionals, and states. Jaden also got third place in the 100-meter dash at states and now holds the state record at 14 seconds for the 110-meter hurdles. Jaden, congratulations on your 3 state championships this year. Our unified tennis team has done well. In 2019-2020, they won silver at the district tournament. In 2021-2022, the Mardela team partnered with Parkside to win gold at the district tournament and silver at the state tournament. As our unified strength and conditioning team, they got bronze at the state tournament in 2019-2020 and silver at states in 2019-2020 and 2021-2022. Lastly, going on to archery, Daniel Ashcraft placed 3rd in the 12th grade boys division. He also shot a personal record on a 3D target. During the 2018-2019 school year, Mardela won Bayside's Conference Sportsmanship Award. Way to go, Warriors. On a more social note, this year's homecoming theme was Enchanted Forest. Helena Maloney, Jack Wheatley, Abby Marvel, Jackson Gray, Juliana Torre, and Jaden Shelton were our senior court, with Jaden Shelton and Abby Marvel being crowned king and queen. We were so excited for prom this year at Southern Belle. This year's theme was See the Light. Olivia Beecham, Ethan Baker, Camille Brackett, Olivia Beecham, Abby Marvel, Gabe Carter, Brianna Spicer, Trad Cooper, Juliana Torre, and Kevin Lewis were our prom court. Brianna Spicer and Luke Beecham were crowned king and queen. It was a great night. COVID hit some of us a lot harder than others, but be proud of yourself because look, you made it. You made it through the crazy, exciting, sad, frustrating, and amazing 4 years of high school, and you were getting ready to be handed your diploma. So again, be proud of yourself because you made it to what some thought was impossible to do. The special day that you have been dreaming about since you were little, the day that seemed like such a distant reality, is finally here. Congratulations, class of 22, and good luck in your next step after we leave here today.
Life brings tears, smiles, and memories. The tears dry, the smiles fade, but the memories last forever. That quote was by George Bernard Shaw, an Irish playwright. Throughout our time at Mardela, we've had countless of amazing memories. We've had funny stories that we'll be sure to tell forever. While those stories gave us smiles and laughter then, those have faded over the past years. Those memories now will be the ones to bring back smiles. It is safe to say that recently there has been more tears than smiles, considering we all leaving a place that has been our second home for 6 years. But like Bernard Shaw said, the tears dry and we'll be left with the memories of this place. So let us, as a class, take the memories we have of this place and move on to better the world. Memories like pep rallies or the Warrior Challenges, and times in classes such as musical theater or sports events where our fellow classmates went above and beyond. Now, as our tears are drying and our smiles are fading, let's remember the memories and cherish them. Do not take for granted all the experience we have had here and use them for your future to help guide you. Thank you. I would like to introduce Dr. Donna Hanlon, who has served as Wacomico County Superintendent of Schools since July 1st, 2016, where she was appointed by the Wacomico County Board of Education. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Hanlon to the podium.
Good evening, board members, Mrs. Hastings, staff, parents, family, friends, and graduates of Mardela High School, class of 2022. Congratulations, soon-to-be graduates. Each of you is just moments away from a major milestone in your life, completing your high school career. And on behalf of the Board of Education and everyone in Wacomico County Public Schools, let me say, we are incredibly proud of you. Life is full of milestones. Your first day of school, getting your driver's license, taking your first job, cashing your first paycheck, graduating from high school, falling in love, turning 21, moving into your own home. Milestones might include entering the military, graduating college, landing a dream job, or a great promotion at work, getting married, having children, retiring. I will soon be celebrating my own major milestone, my retirement. Over and over, I've been asked the same question that I imagine has been posed to you. What's next? In my case, I'm happy to share that I plan to spend time with my family, children and grandchildren, and I hope to have time and good health to travel more with my husband. But I've also been tempted to respond when asked that question, I'm going to dance. In fact, just recently, I was standing with colleagues in the back of a room at an event for first-year teachers, waiting for my turn to speak, and the person next to me asked jokingly, "Are you going to dance?" And I think I surprised him when I said, "Oh, I am most definitely going to dance, just not today." I was speaking figuratively, not literally. I was referring to what I plan to do upon retirement. Dancing comes to mind because of a graduation speech that I made as principal 20 years ago for the James M. Bennett class of 2002. And at that time, Leanne Womack had recorded a very popular song, "I Hope You Dance." It won Country Music Association awards for both Single and Song of the Year, as well as a Grammy for the best country song. And I think that the words of that song hold true for anyone moving on to a next chapter in life, whether that transition is whatever comes after high school graduation or what awaits in retirement. While our graduating seniors may not be familiar with this song, I think that many in the audience this evening may be familiar. So I hope that the words that I share with you from I Hope You Dance will convey my wishes for you tonight, that you dance through life, whatever it brings. The thought of dancing feels daunting for many of us. Just for a moment, picture yourself in one of those old movies where some sat and waited to be asked to dance, while others tried to work up the nerve to approach someone for a dance. Now understand that I fully appreciate the fact that this is not at all how it happens today, but just humor me for a moment and use your imagination. I would imagine that those were very awkward times. They both had to make the choice and take the risk to either sit out that song or to dance. And when they chose to dance, allowing the music to move them around the dance floor, they probably experienced a moment of pure joy and happiness, all because they took the chance. And that's what life is all about. As this song says, life Living might mean taking chances, but they're worth living. In her song, I Hope You Dance, Leanne Womack sings, I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. You get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take for granted one single breath. God forbid, love, ever leave you empty-handed. This song expresses what I wish for you as graduates of Wicomico Public Schools. And you always have the curiosity of a small child, that you always hunger to explore what life has to offer, and that you never take life for granted. She sings, I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Have you ever sat on the beach and stared out the waves and tried to imagine how far it is to the other side? Have you ever laid down in an open field at night and stared up at the stars and thought about what a tiny part of this huge universe you really are? You are just one tiny part of this world, but you still have a place. Feeling small when you stand beside the ocean is about understanding your place in the world. I think that the older you get, the better you appreciate that. What I experienced sitting on the beach, considering the vast horizon, would likely be quite different than what you experience. But I hope that you move through life as you take each moment and you sit and take time to reflect on your place in the world. Womack sings, I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. We all have mountains to climb. Some mountains are larger than others, and as seniors, you certainly have had huge mountains to climb through your high school years. It was March of your sophomore year when our schools shut down, and for some of you, didn't open back up until fully this year. Remote and hybrid learning were not ideal, and many high school events were missed. And even this year, you have had to endure incredibly challenging times with the return to in-person learning in masks. But you had the courage to move forward to get to the other side. It took perseverance and diligence to climb those mountains. But to get the most out of life and all that it has to offer, we must tackle those mountains head on. And I believe that any mountains you may climb in your future will be easier to conquer because of the adversity that you have already faced with grace and confidence. She sings, whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. That's what life is all about, doors opening and closing. Life's doors come in all shapes and sizes. Some are solid wood with not even a peephole, and others are French doors with transparent glass so you can clearly see what's on the other side. Some doors close easily and lock, and you have no key to re-enter. With others, the latch has long since gone, and it will not remain closed, no matter how hard you try to keep it closed. Some are not actual physical doors. They exist only in our minds. You're closing one door today. That may seem like a scary thing because you aren't really sure what's on the other side. Some of you are looking forward to closing and locking this door and might even be happy to throw away the key. No matter how you feel about this door you're closing, I hope one more opens and that they continue to open for you. You have to be willing to let some doors close, whether it's through retirement or graduation, knowing in your heart that others will open for you. Now, if you listen really carefully to the song, and perhaps some of you will, you can hear some subtle words in the background, including this. Time is a wheel in constant motion, always rolling us along. What does that mean? And why is it part of this song? Well, while you're busy taking risks and climbing mountains and sitting beside the ocean and closing and opening doors and daring to dance, remember that time does not stop. Jim Croce was a popular musician in the 1970s who composed and recorded the #1 song, Time in a Bottle. He wrote about storing time in a bottle to save it for his family, his friends, his wishes, his dreams. But he also wrote about how that wasn't possible. Time can't be bottled up and saved. It must be experienced as it unfolds. Less than 12 months from the day that he recorded that song, Jim Croce was killed in a plane crash. All of his time was gone. Time does not stop. If you choose to sit out that dance in hopes that another will come along, that chance may not come. So tonight, I simply suggest to you that you heed Womac's advice, that you give love and faith a fighting chance, that you will give the heavens more than just a passing glance, and that when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, you'll dance. Dance through the rest of your lives, like that moment is all that matters. Dance and dare and dream. I know that's my plan. Again, on behalf of the Board of Education and everyone in Wicomico Public Schools, we wish you the very best. Congratulations, graduates.
Good evening, Dr. Hanlon, board members, executive leadership, parents, friends, and graduates. What an exciting day. As I reflect on the last 5 years where I've had the honor of being your principal, I am truly humbled by all of you. 42% of you are graduating with a laud distinction. This percentage is higher than any other high school in Wicomico County. Just over 10% of you are graduating summa cum laude, 16% of you are graduating magna cum laude, and 16% of you are graduating cum laude. I will be honest, there are a few of you out there who are graduating more like, thank you, Lordy. I know who you are. During my first year as principal, the Mardela class of 2018 earned a total of $4,048,803 in scholarship money, an amount that I never thought we'd surpass. Well, class of 2022, you far exceeded our expectations, bringing in $5,307,269.40 in scholarship money, the highest amount in school history. That is something to celebrate. And you all have another special fact that no other graduating class at Mardela before or since will be able to say. You are the last class that will walk the halls of Mardela Middle and High School as we know it today. Renovations begin in 1 week, and the school will look completely different. One day, when you come back to visit, you can share that piece of history with the current students. Regardless of the distinction that you have earned or how much scholarship money you've received, you are all graduating with a unique, special story. A story that has some fond memories, some proud moments, and some struggles. Hold on to each part of your story because every part of it, even those that hurt or that you aren't so proud of, have made you into the person that you are today. As most of you know, I'm a very proud graduate of Mardela High School, class of 1992. As I reflected back on what I wanted to share with you today, I kept reflecting on my high school experience. I asked myself what I learned at Mardela that helped to shape me into the leader that I am today. Many memories came to mind. There were many teachers and one special coach that helped to shape me into a thinker, a leader, and a risk taker. There were many great memories of pep rallies, games, band trips, speeches, and recognitions that I could share. However, some of the things that shaped me the most were not necessarily happy memories. You see, I believe that we can and should learn from everything that happens in our life. We can allow things that occur in our lives to make us better or make us bitter. I'd like to share one of those memories with you. I am a proud McCool product. Graduates, you may not know what that means, but I can assure you that the alum that walked the halls around my time who are in the audience knows exactly what it means. I had the privilege of playing 3 sports for the toughest, most driven, most encouraging coach that's ever walked the halls of Mardela High School, Barbara McCool. On at least a weekly basis, I was called a mamby-pamby, was told to get the lead out, was encouraged to play with pride, and was reminded that she was as serious as a heart attack. I loved her and still do, and I credit her for playing a large part in shaping me into the leader that I am today. For 2 of those 4 years, I was also able to play alongside Tia Jackson, a true athlete and all-around great person. I ran track with Tia, and both of us competed in the high jump and triple jump. I was very comfortable learning from her and staying in her shadow. There was absolutely no beating Tia Jackson. I knew that and enjoyed cheering her on as she's shown in every meet that we ever ran together. Well, 29 years ago, I found myself as a junior at the state track meet. I had been there before, but this time I was not protected by Tia's shadow. Tia had graduated, and I was the only one on the team competing in the triple and high jump. The story that I'm getting ready to share still stings 29 years later. I had already competed in the high jump, and I did well, finishing 4th overall. The high jump was my strength, and I didn't expect a place in the triple jump. You see, up to that point, I've seen Tia jump 37 feet and more and win states all 4 of her high school years. I usually jumped in the high 20s and was happy when I cleared the 30-foot mark. As I competed that year, I told myself just give it all I had. I would run with pride, as coach had taught me, and would be proud of the outcome. I was jumping well that day. I jumped 31 feet and may have even hit 32 feet, a personal record for me. I noticed that there were no Tias that year. There was no one that was jumping insane, seemingly non-human distances. I also realized that I was jumping near the end of the order, so I had a chance at placing. I reminded myself of all my training, of everything that I had learned from coach and from Tia, of all the countless hours that I had put into perfecting my skill, and committed to putting it all in play in my last and final jump. I was the last athlete to jump. One of the athletes who jumped ahead of me jumped 33 feet, 3.5 inches. Remember that distance. After she jumped, she sat at the end of the pit and watched as jumper after jumper competed, but no one came close to beating her. And finally, it was my turn. I ran with all my might. My foot hit the center of the board perfectly. I did my 3 jumps, landed in the pit as I had been trained, got up, and waited. I knew I had jumped well. I waited as they measured. So did the athlete sitting in first place. After a few seconds, that seemed like an eternity, the judge announced my distance, 33 feet, 3 1/4 inches. Yes, you heard that right. I lost the state title by 1/4 of an inch, and that was a measurement in sand. I remember it vividly. I remember seeing the girl lean back in the grass and scream in delight. I remember processing what had just occurred. I looked over and saw Coach and walked over to her and cried on her shoulder. Now, for those of you that knew Barbara McCool, she wasn't exactly the nurturing type, but that day she was. She hugged me and told me how proud she was of me. She joked that she had never seen me jump like that and asked where it came from. I got myself together, picked my head up, and joined my team. I smiled as I received the silver medal. My parents were there to cheer me on and let me know how proud they were of me. I returned to the gym with my head held high, seeing many new banners in the gym, but sadly none with my name on it. So why do I share this story that still hurts 29 years later? I tell it because I believe there are many lessons in life. In life, there will be disappointments. To those of you who are facing giants and to those of you who have yet felt a real challenge, I believe that the following advice that parallels to my small story is advice that you can apply in your life. Trust me, you will face challenges in your life. One's way more difficult than a state championship loss. How you train for them, how you respond to them, and how you move on from them will help to determine the course of your life and determine the kind of person that you will become. First, approach every day with determination and grit. Whether you're going to college, the military, or going directly into the workforce, you will not find success unless you approach every day like it's the state championship. In my experience, the most successful people are not necessarily the most naturally gifted. Instead, they are people that work hard every day, no matter what obstacles they face. Set stretch goals and then make plans on how to reach those goals. You must have a desire and a willingness to put the hard work in to make those goals a reality. And when you face obstacles or challenges, make sure that you seek out advice from people who have been where you are and people who are knowledgeable in the area in which you're working. Sometimes we seek out people who will tell us what we want to hear and not necessarily what we need to hear. Seek out advice from people in the field you're entering. They know what it takes to find success. Seek out people who are going to be honest with you. As I shared, when I was being a PAMB, Coach wasn't afraid to let me know. On the other hand, make sure that you also have cheerleaders who are there with you through the highs and the lows. My parents have always served in that role. Whether I finished as a state champion or finished dead last, their love for me wouldn't sway. They were there to cheer me on that day, and they continue to do so today. Make sure that you have cheerleaders in your life and that you call on them when you need encouragement. When you face disappointments, respond with dignity. I wanted to argue about the accuracy of measuring 1/4 of an inch in sand. I still do. I wanted to whine to my classmates about how unfair that day was. I wanted to justify why I lost. I wanted to point fingers. Instead, I chose to keep my head up as I faced my teammates and later my classmates. Remember that people are always watching. They are watching how you handle success, and they're watching how you handle disappointments. How you carry yourself in times of stress is a testimony to your character. Be a person of strength and dignity. And finally, when challenges arrive, look for the positive. What can you learn from this challenge? Sometimes you have to force a smile on your face when disappointment strikes. You have to fake it until you make it. Keep smiling and always look for the positive in every situation. People respect and admire positive people. So as you enter adulthood, remember to approach every day with determination, set stretch goals, and develop plans to meet them. Seek out advice from people who are knowledgeable in the area that you're studying and who will be honest with you. Know who your cheerleaders are and seek them out when you need encouragement. Respond to every challenge with dignity and pride, and approach every situation with a positive attitude. As Vince Lombardi once said, the greatest achievement is not in never failing, but in rising again after you fall. I pray that with every new challenge that you face, you approach it as an opportunity to learn and to be a better you. Congratulations, class of 2022. Therefore, Dr. Hanlon, in recognition of the records and achievements of the students of this class, and by virtue of the authority vested in me as principal of Mardela High School, I certify that these students have met the graduation requirements established by the Maryland State Board of Education and the Wicomico County Public School System. Accordingly, it is my pleasure to recommend and present to you for the conferring of diplomas the graduating class of 2022.
Mrs. Hastings, in recognition of the records and achievements of the students of this class, and by the virtue of the authority vested in me as Superintendent of Wicomico County Public Schools, it is my pleasure to certify and accept for the conferring of diplomas the graduates of Mardela High School, class of 2022. Congratulations.
Zoe Captain Olivia Beecham. Madeline Jane Rager. Casey Lynn Gerhardt. Jalen Nicole Boyington. Luke Christopher Dean. Daniel Lewis Ashcraft. Ethan Christopher Baker. Luke Michael Beecham. Blake Eric Bennett. David Carlos Brett. Martin Paul Bush. Noah Michael Caputo. Gabriel John Carter. Quentin Bishop Coleman. Manuel Javon Coleman Arthur. Trad Thomas Cooper. Christian Cole Cornett. Gage Edward Daniel. Joseph Gary Davala. Dylan J. Everett. Mason Reed Jacob. Cole Thomas Gall. Jackson Richard Gray. Noah Wayne Gray. Jaden Rashad Abdullah. Micaiah Kel Arthur. Adrian Sidney Bailey. Bill Therese Brackett. Ashlyn Marie Brown. Shania Brown. Shannon Blair Cunningham. Rainey Michelle Wilson. Brooklyn Nicole Davis. Emily Nicole S. Madison Noel Donalds. Taylor Mackenzie. Layla Jane Hales. Emma Jean Harris. Ava Catherine Hudson. Brooklyn Dawn Hughes. Jakaya Michaela John. Taylor Nicole Joseph. Ashlyn Elizabeth Kaiser. Kelly Renee Lemon. Helena Rose Maloney. Jonathan James Hagee. Hastings. Robert Haney. Delivore Martinez Jr. Joshua Andrew Horner. Carson Randall Hughes. Devin Philip Jensen. Connor Stephen Jones. Grady Patrick Jones. Tyler Jamar Jones. Logan Adam Carnes. Caden Matthew Kern. The second. Kevin Michael Lewis. Logan Tyler Menino. Sadie Nathan Paul Milliner. Samuel Cruz 14.
Abby Lee Marvel. Adriana Elise. Kalia Rose McFadden. Lauren Rose Messick. Mackenzie Marie Mills. Jillian Grace Mitchell. Olivia Ryan Mitchell. Constance Jean Gay. Melissa Raphael Salgun. Zakiria Page Scott. Brianna Elizabeth Spicer. Esperanza Alicia Stanley. Juliana Rose Torre. Lily Catherine Travers. Madeline Riley Lundstedt. Imani Ali Walters. Carolyn Frances Webster. Autumn Michelle White. Jenna Ann Whitty. Alexis Marie Yates. Caitlin Marie Yates. Miranda Eleanor Youngblood. Cody Thomas Fippen. Derek Pietras. Christian Scott Rubenstein. Trevor Joseph Schlupner. Jaden Ryan Shelton. Sean Gordon Shutley. Dwayne Marcus Smith. Stephen Michael Smith, Jr. Zachary Blake Lombrino. Chase Austin Spencer. Gavin Reese Spicer. Gabriel Thomas Stade. John Woodrow Safford Jr. Wyatt Thomas Taylor. Augustus Umstead. John Miller Wheatley. Ryan Neal Williams.
At this time, will everyone please stand and join us in singing the Alma Mater? Be found in your program on the back of the scholarship insert.
everyone may be seated. Good evening, Mardela class of 2022. Today marks the end of high school, but it also marks an opportunity for a new beginning. As we prepare to take the next step into a new chapter of our lives, take a moment to remember any fond memories you may have from the past 4 years. Each of us have led different lives with different experiences, but we will have at least one happy memory from high school, one of those hopefully being this moment we share together. As you look towards the future, take time to find the happy moments and the experiences to come. We are graduating in a time with challenges our world has never faced before. In the past 4 years, we have overcome a pandemic, virtual schooling, and had to relearn the way we interact with others. These hurdles have only served to make our generation stronger and more resilient to take on whatever our future may hold. We are the next generation of scientists, soldiers, doctors, farmers, and teachers. Tonight marks the next step into a new chapter of your life. Equipped with the skills and tools you've acquired over our education, you will be able to excel at this next phase no matter what that may be. Whatever path you take, your life is changing in some way. You no longer will be attending high school 5 days a week or be surrounded by classmates most of us have known since kindergarten. You may not know what direction your life is going to take, but as long as you take the enthusiasm for today and apply it to your future, you will succeed. Graduates, it is time. Please rise. And join me in moving our tassels from the right of our caps to the left. Congratulations and best wishes, Mardela class of 2022.
Graduates, we have one more surprise for you. Each of you are now receiving a note written specifically to you by a faculty or staff member. Please read these and treasure the sentiments in your note. We are all so very proud of you and excited for your future.
I don't want to cut anybody off. They're going to open their letters now.
Okay, at this time, parents, guardians, and friends, please stand and remain standing at your seat until our last graduate has exited through the main stadium doors. Thank you.
Here we go. One.